You know life has its ups and downs. Turn your pretty face to an ugly frown. Seems that when I fix one thing,
Hello, welcome back to The Awakening. I'm your host, Angela Brown. Today's topic for discussion is victims have rights too. My guest today is Arlene Joel, and she's here with me. She's with Victims' Rights, and we're going to discuss victims and the rights that they should have. Primarily, there's a lot of women out there who are hurting that you don't know anything about. They've got some fundraisers coming up. I hope you'll look at the screen and you join us and go to the fundraisers. So I want to welcome you.
Thank you.
Welcome
Thanks
to
for
The
having
Awakening.
me.
How are you?
I'm doing great. I appreciate being here.
I appreciate having you here. I wouldn't be here if you weren't here. I might be home drinking some more of that wine. Okay, what does Victims' Rights stand for?
Well,
exactly what it says?
Yeah, and April is Victims' Rights Awareness Month, and it's just to, I guess, reinforce to the public, to the communities, that if they are victims of crime, that there's places out there that can help them. Victims have a right to be heard, to be present, and those are some of the rights that, by law, victims have access to.
What if they don't have any money?
Well, at our organization, Community Advocates for Family and Youth, our services are free.
Really?
Yes.
And where are you located?
We are located in Upper Marlboro.
Oh, that's not far from here either.
No, and we also have a Victims' Rights Clinic in Hyattsville where people can just walk in and get information about reporting a crime, or if they've been a victim of a crime, what to do next.
When you say a victim, it's more than domestic violence, I'm sure.
It's more than domestic violence. We serve people who have been victims of breaking and entering, home invasion, the co-victims of homicides, to sexual assault and child abuse.
So you got it all in one package, basically.
Yes.
How long have you been doing this?
I started the organization in 2003.
Oh, you did it?
Yes.
Good girl.
And just really started out wanting to help victims prepare to give testimony in court.
Oh, yeah.
And then from that, we kind of evolved into a victim services organization where we do case management, just helping victims understand what to do after they call 911.
Now, you chose to have, or were you once a victim yourself?
I chose to do this.
Okay.
I've always been involved as a hotline counselor in domestic violence. And as a result of that, wanted to continue to do work in the field of victims' rights.
Well, you don't have to answer this question, but were you ever abused yourself, Arlene?
I was abused as a teenager.
As a teenager.
Right, and which is one of the reasons why we have a teen advocate group.
You do have a teen advocate group.
Right.
Okay.
And they're centered around teen dating violence. And that was one of my problems.
You were a teenager yourself, huh?
Correct.
Aren't we kind of ignorant back then?
Right, because remember, you couldn't talk about anything then.
Because I saw my mother and father fight. I thought that was normal. And also drink. Well, my dad didn't drink that much, but my mom did. Did you grow up in a good environment?
I grew up in a good environment. And I guess just like a lot of teens, you know, when you're a teenager, you're defining what love is and what a good relationship is. And although, you know, my parents, they had a great relationship. There was no domestic violence at home. But a lot of my friends were experiencing the same thing. And so if you're in that environment, you know, your norm is your norm.
Yeah, because I've noticed the young girls today, even as young as 8 and 9 years old, will let boys on the playground or girls when they're in school hit them.
You're absolutely
yeah,
right.
and to them it's normal. The girl is beneath the guy.
Right.
And that is not true. Not in my book.
No, not at all.
No. I mean, I'll fight till I'm blind. I'll fight, knock me down, you know, but nobody's going to take advantage of me anymore.
Right. And, you know, remember back then, it was like, oh, he must like you if he's hitting you.
Or I love you, so bingo, we fall for that. You know, that's low self-esteem. You know that? It is low self-esteem.
It helps to prepare a girl for low self-esteem.
It does. It does. What do you think, I'm going to ask you this because it's on my mind a lot. Why do you think our teenagers put each other down so violently because they're a little overweight? That's abuse right there.
That is abuse.
See, even though it's verbal, it's still abuse.
And you're right. I think that the abuse has always occurred. I think that now people are speaking out about it because how often when we were growing up, there were bullies, you know, in school,
The boys
on the
primarily.
playground, you know, girls that you knew, don't mess with her because, you know, she'll harass you, beat you down or whatever. But now, and it's a good thing, that teens are disclosing it more than before. Parents are encouraging their children to speak out about it and to seek help, you know, and the states are, you know, coming forth giving teens that same kind of exposure as an adult woman would have for domestic violence. And we didn't have that before.
No, we didn't. You didn't talk about it. You didn't even go to church and talk about it. After I got beaten up, I would go to church because I knew God was there and that was my best friend and nobody would come in and hurt me.
Right.
That's the only place I felt safe.
And that's true because you know you can reveal everything.
Confession is good for the soul.
Right.
And when you can confess it in church, you're letting it go.
Exactly. You're not carrying it around.
You're not carrying it around your
harboring it.
shoulders all humped over like this, you know.
Right.
You stand tall. I don't care if a girl's 100 pounds or 1,000 pounds. She's still beautiful.
Right.
And I want young women to realize that.
And that's true. I mean, we're all created the way we are for a
We're
reason.
different. You know, all of us, if we all looked alike, it'd be kind of boring.
It would be.
Wouldn't it be boring? And even some of the guys now, I've noticed, are packing on quite a few pounds. But that's
Well,
good.
That's true. Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
But now I guess, you know, they're encouraging teens to get out more for exercise. Remember, we had gym back then.
Oh, yes. Do you remember gym time? Yeah, I was such a skinny kid. I hate to put on those little gym shorts. And I would try to hunch over like this and cover myself up, you know. But today, it's more violence, I think. I mean, they can pick up each other on the street and have a fight.
That's
Bring
true.
a gun, bring a knife.
Yeah, no
We
more
didn't know
fights,
that.
right? They're shooting each other, unfortunately.
It's murder. Yeah, yeah. So you started this organization.
Right.
And it was in 2003, I think you said?
Correct.
And you did it primarily because of what happened to you?
I actually retired early and
You're too young to retire.
no, not really, but thank you.
Yes, you are. I figure about 25 years old, girl.
Right. Forever.
Now you owe me a glass of wine.
Right. But I started volunteering at the Sexual Assault Center.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
I
and
worked
got
at
back
the
in that.
hospital in Baltimore.
Oh, okay.
And I saw things that would curl your hair. No, it was so bad. A lot with children.
Right. And we do have a pretty large, unfortunately, base of children who become victims of crime. You know, which is one of the reasons why our April event, which is coming up April the 7th, and
Where is that going to be held?
it's going to be held at the Glendale Golf Club.
Okay.
And the theme is Healing Happens.
Oh, wonderful. HH. Okay. I'm gonna write
And
that
we
down.
do give survivors the opportunity to come and be recognized as people who have overcome the
And survived
devastation of
the
crime.
abuse, yeah. I don't know if you ever watched Law and Order, but that's my favorite
Yes.
show. And this is where I'm noticing, well, the children there aren't really being raped or hurt, but you can perceive the trauma that these kids are, since they're actors, but they're bland. They're everything in front of them is gone. Their vision is away.
Right, because if you can imagine a child grows up with so much hope, and usually in child abuse and assault situations, it's someone that the child trusts. And so just the whole dynamics of not being able to trust that person that you should be able to trust because of abuse, or even trusting your classmates if you get sexually assaulted in school. Those are environments that when we groom our children, we tell them those are safe places. We tell them home's a safe place, school's a safe place. And
And
if
the church is a safe place.
right, and if
Think
you go
about
to
the
those
church.
places,
I didn't believe it when I heard about it.
Right.
Oh, no.
but how, I mean, we're still hearing about it.
I know we are. It doesn't stop. And
Nope.
it's never going to stop. I mean,
Well, we would like to hope it'll stop at some
well, I
point.
keep praying every day it's going to
Me
stop, you
too.
know.
Me
Because right
too.
now, I worry more about the young kids. I have a niece who just turned 8 years old, and that's a very bad time, I think. She goes to a really nice school and all. But, you know, you're not even safe in school.
Right, you're not. You're not. And that's so unfortunate because, you know, now we have to have patrol officers or something to monitor the schools and to make sure that children aren't getting physically assaulted, sexually assaulted, or like you mentioned, verbally abused.
I would rather have a black eye than the mental and emotional abuse that a woman carries on her shoulders. You're ugly, you're no good, you're never going to be anything but nothing. My own mother used to tell me, you're going to be nothing when you grow up. I've got 2 books, girl. So, I mean, when the first one came out, I went to the cemetery and I read the first part of it to her. I said, see me now? Look at me now, Mom. I wasn't angry so much because my mom had a drinking problem. But, alcohol goes with abuse. It can really trigger the abuse. And so could football. But now we're not going to have it this year, I don't think so.
No, right. We don't know, right?
We're not sure. But, this is not funny, but I mean, I used to get many calls on Sunday after the games. And that was, the men were drunk.
Right.
And they would beat their wives or girlfriends up. So you started this on a wing and a prayer, I'm sure.
And we still operated on a wing and a prayer because we are heavily supported by volunteers. And so we are always looking for, community residents who want to give back, who want to help to, come out and volunteer their time as administrators, take our training for advocates or something like that.
I live in Bowie. I'm not far from Upper Marlboro. Because every hand's a helping hand.
You're so right. And there's so much that needs to be done.
Don't you think we're going to be doing this for almost time it comes to an end? Think about it.
I know.
I hope not. I
hope not. But I think the good thing is that now that we do work so hard and people are trying to, report more, seek help more, to heal from it, that maybe there's a light
at the end of the tunnel.
But I think you're right. We have to, work on the children.
My kids are my children, well, not my own children, but all the kids are mine. And my goal is to help save them. Because I've devised a program called the Awakening Program. There's 6 parts to it. It starts with life, choices, responsibility, anger, forgiveness, and letting go. I've been doing it mostly with teen girls, and oh my God, it makes them see the light like they've never seen it before.
I'm sure.
It's awakening.
Yeah, and it gives them a different perspective.
Because I go to Cheltenham and I go to Waxters and Laurel.
Oh, great.
And my girls over there are getting so strong. So.
Oh, well, that is so good. Because you even wonder, there's an increase on teens going to detention centers, but then you have to think of how did they get there? What happened? And a lot of times when you track it back, it's abuse. It's something,
they grew up in it.
Right, that violence was the norm in their home, so they turned to violence. And so you really have to understand what makes it sounds cliche, but what makes a child go bad.
Exactly. I mean, we're not here to blame the parents.
Right.
God only knows. I'm not blaming anybody. I just know that the time has come in my life, I think, at 2011, to see some more changes with the girls.
Right.
The insecurity and the fighting over who's got the best pair of pants, who's got the nicest jacket. And one thing about First Lady Obama, Barack Obama's wife, she is a wonderful lady, and she planted a garden, and she's growing the right food that the children need. But I've had some kids come to me right up and say, we trust you. Why do you say that she's doing stuff for us that we should get skinny? I said, no, I didn't say that.
Right.
I said, what she is growing and trying to get across is, healthy eating habits.
Be healthy.
A couple of the kids said, well, if you've only got macaroni and cheese in the house, you're going to eat that.
Well, yeah, that's
See what I'm
true,
saying?
too.
We don't have any way to get the green beans and and carrots and all that kind of stuff. So if I'll go macaroni and cheese. I don't care what she says. This is true. This is what these kids
Not
tell
a
me.
lot of options. Right.
What are you going to do?
No, I think that's sad because you're absolutely right. Even if I want to eat healthy, if I don't have it, I have to do what I have to do to survive.
I've got to see if I can get her to come on my show because I would really like to have her on.
That would be wonderful.
I would. I really would. I like the lady. I respect the lady, but I've heard so much from kids since she started her garden. So, they just say, what are we supposed to do? Go out and plant gardens in everybody's yard? And it's so hard for me to focus on these children because I don't have the answers. I don't know. She started it to help.